Virginia is often trapped in a stiff image as a place of bureaucracy and boring war monuments. But if you are willing to leave the main highways behind, you will find a reality that is far more eccentric, a state built on anomalies. We are talking about a place where state law splits in the middle of a sidewalk, where communities speak in an Old English dialect because of geographic isolation, and where a civilian town remains permanently trapped behind the barbed wire of a military base. These towns reveal a side of Virginia that challenges common sense, where history, geography, and social behavior come together in the strangest forms. Forget the usual history tour. This is a map for those looking for real oddities in the Old Dominion. We begin with a town that literally has a dual personality. This is Bristol, a town located right on the border between Virginia and Tennessee. Its uniqueness is easy to see on State Street, the main road through downtown, where the yellow line in the middle of the street is not just a traffic divider, but the legal boundary between two states. If you walk on the north sidewalk, you are in Virginia, but one step to the south means you are already in Tennessee. That condition creates a very unusual administrative setup. Bristol has 2 mayors, 2 city councils, and 2 school systems, even though physically it functions as one community. Today, Bristol uses its geographic oddity as a tourist attraction, especially with the giant neon Bristol 5ATN sign that has been an icon since the 1920s. If Bristol's boundary is a line on the pavement, then on Tangier Island, the boundary is the wide sea that separates it from the modern world. Sitting in the middle of Chesapeake Bay, Tangier Island is a time capsule that is slowly sinking. Its residents have a unique dialect known as the Tangier accent, a form of English that sounds very similar to the speech of Victorian-era England or Old Cornwall. What makes this island strange is not only its language, but also its isolation. There is no bridge connecting Tangier to the mainland. The only way in is by ferry or small plane. Today, its community, made up mostly of crab fishermen, faces a harsh reality. The island loses about 8 acres of land every year. In the coming decades, Tangier may become America's Atlantis, leaving its unique dialect buried beneath the bay. While Tangier is isolated by water, there is another town called Quantico that is isolated by military authority. Imagine living in a town where you have to show military identification or pass through an armed checkpoint just to go home. Technically, it is an independent civilian town, but it is completely surrounded by a United States Marine Corps base. The town covers only 0.1 square miles and has around 500 permanent residents. Because it is locked inside a military installation, economic growth here is nearly impossible. The atmosphere is very quiet, in sharp contrast to the intense activity around it involving FBI training and Marine combat exercises. Entering Quantico feels like stepping into a buffer zone between the calm civilian world and a massive military machine. Moving away from the rigid military atmosphere of Quantico, we come to Colonial Beach, where the rules of the road feel like they belong to a different world. Here, cars are almost second-class citizens because the residents' main vehicle is the golf cart. Yes, really, the tradition grew out of the town's compact and relaxed layout, where using a full-size car often feels unnecessary. What makes it even stranger is Colonial Beach's odd political history with Maryland. Because Maryland's border extends to the low water line on the Virginia side, the piers in Colonial Beach are technically in Maryland. That once made it possible for illegal gambling to operate over the water, since gambling was banned in Virginia, but at one time allowed in Maryland. Even today, the laid-back culture and the dominance of golf carts make it one of the most eccentric towns on the East Coast. We move to Smithfield, a town that takes its meat heritage so seriously it almost feels obsessive. The town is officially known as the ham capital of the world. Its oddness lies in both its unwritten rules and its visual identity. You will find large pig statues painted in all kinds of designs on streets throughout the town. Beyond that, there is even a unique relationship with the air itself. The smell of hickory smoke used to cure ham is part of the town's atmosphere. Smithfield is also home to the oldest ham in the world, preserved since 1902 and now displayed in a local museum. To outsiders, this devotion to pork may seem excessive, but to locals, it is an economic legacy that has survived since the colonial era. If Smithfield takes pride in ham, the Natural Bridge Station holds pride in a far wilder and more surreal historical narrative. This small town is home to what may be the strangest attraction in all of Virginia, Dinosaur Kingdom 2. It contains a sculpture park that imagines an alternate version of American history. Here, you can see full-size statues showing dinosaurs attacking Union soldiers during the Civil War. Mark Klein, the artist behind it, created a story in which dinosaurs were discovered in caves and used as weapons of war. Even though it is a tourist attraction, its presence gives the town a surreal identity, making it a must-stop for anyone chasing places that feel truly beyond reason. We head to Fairfax, where the strangeness takes the form of a much more unsettling urban legend. Fairfax is a modern and prosperous place, yet it holds one of the most famous mysteries in America, centered on Colchester Overpass, better known as Bunnyman Bridge. The story began in the 1970s with reports of a man in a rabbit costume carrying an axe and attacking people near the bridge. As much as it sounds like a campfire tale, Fairfax police records do document strange reports connected to this figure. To this day, the bridge remains a magnet for ghost hunters, and visually, it still feels isolated and eerie. If Fairfax unsettles people with the legend of a rabbit man, Bumpass makes people smile just by hearing its name. Sometimes a town becomes strange simply because of its linguistic identity. The name actually comes from the Bumpass family, who owned land there in the 18th century, and traces back to the French word Bumpass, meaning good step. Even though it does not have any especially striking physical oddities, Bumpass has its own appeal through its post office. Many stamp collectors and travelers come here on purpose just to get a postmark that says Bumpass, Virginia. Life here is quiet and agricultural, creating a contrast between a name that sounds amusing to outsiders and the simple reality of rural life. From the unusual name of Bumpass, we move to the unusual animal behavior of Chincoteague, which has shaped the entire rhythm of local life. In most towns, you might see dogs roaming around. Here, wild ponies are part of the everyday landscape. The town sits on a barrier island and is famous for its annual pony swim. Every July, the wild ponies are herded across the channel from Chesapeake Island to Chincoteague to be auctioned off as a way to control the population. Chincoteague lives heavily through tourism built around the legend of these wild ponies, creating a small-town culture deeply centered on natural history and the unusual relationship between people and the wild animals that share their land. While Chincoteague takes pride in its wild nature, Short Pump feels strange because of an urban transformation that made its name sound completely out of place. The name Short Pump may sound like a remote village, but in reality, this is one of the busiest and most modern areas in Virginia. The unusual name comes from an old 19th century tavern that had a short-handled water pump. What makes Short Pump strange is the contrast in its identity. The name points to a simple farming tool, yet the area is now filled with upscale shopping centers and high-end housing. Residents have kept the name as a tribute to the region's agricultural past, before it became a busy commercial center. Moving away from the modern feel of Short Pump, we come to White Post, a place where a centuries-old object still shapes the layout of the modern town. At the main road intersection in this village stands an exposed white post about 12 feet tall. This post is known to be the original directional marker placed by Lord Fairfax in the 1750s. What makes it unique is the fact that the roads and buildings in the town were all arranged around its location. Even though modern vehicles have to curve carefully around it, local residents refuse to move the post, making it one of the oldest and most respected traffic markers in America. Then the town of Natural Bridge centers itself around a geological wonder wrapped in presidential mythology. Administratively, it is a small town, but its main attraction is a natural stone bridge about 66 meters high that formed over millions of years. What makes it unusual is the blend of remarkable geology with national history. George Washington is said to have carved his initials into the rock wall, and they can still be seen today. In addition, Thomas Jefferson once bought this land from King George III for a very low price. The town feels like a place where major American history presses right against the grandeur of nature, creating an atmosphere that is both sacred and filled with uniquely American storytelling. We head to Stuart, a place where its natural wonder is much smaller, yet seen as mystical. In this area, there is a unique geological phenomenon in the form of staurolite crystals that naturally form perfect cross shapes, known as fairy stones. Locals have a legend that these stones are frozen fairy tears shed when they heard of Christ's death. Although scientifically they are the result of geothermal pressure, fairy stones have become part of Stuart's cultural identity. Visitors come from many places just to search for these stones beneath the soil, turning it into a mystical treasure hunt that feels very real to both residents and tourists. Dumfries mourns the loss of its former greatness because of land and water. Dumfries holds the title of the oldest town in Virginia, but it has a strange history shaped by geography. In the 18th century, Dumfries was a prosperous international port that once rivaled New York. But in a short time, the Quantico River began to silt up badly because of soil erosion. Within a few decades, Dumfries went from a busy port to a town stranded inland, far from navigable water. Today, the remains of that prosperous past stand in sharp contrast to its current role as a quiet commuter town along a major highway. To close this journey away from Dumfries, which lost its port, we come to Staunton, a town that has managed to preserve its face as if time stopped in the past. Because Staunton was mostly spared from the destruction of the Civil War, much of its original architecture remains intact, giving it an atmosphere very different from other modern towns in Virginia. Beyond its visual appeal, Staunton is home to the Camera Heritage Museum, which holds one of the largest collections of antique cameras, reinforcing its identity as a town that loves old technology. Walking through downtown Staunton feels surreal. With its grand Victorian buildings, it becomes the perfect final stop to show how Virginia still holds pockets of time that refuse to change. Exploring Virginia through these towns proves that a place's identity is often shaped by unexpected things, from geographic accidents and local obsessions to legends preserved for centuries. These places are not just dots on a map, but real evidence of how communities adapt to unusual history and surroundings. In the end, these strange qualities are what give a place its soul, reminding us that behind the order of the modern world there is always room for anomalies that enrich the human story. What do you think? Which town stands out to you most?